Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BettingPros NFL Week 15 Sunday morning live stream brought to you by BetMGM, where you can get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000 with the promo code BettingPros at first deposit. He's Fitz. I'm Freedman and Pat Fitzmaurice and Matthew Freedman here to highlight our favorite NFL bets for the remaining games of Week 15. At the end of the show, we will take a couple of questions if there are other games, other bets you want us to touch on. All right, Fitz, a couple of items at the top of the show. First of all, we are starting late, and it's 100% your fault. Actually, no, I'm joking. It's my fault. It's all my fault. We started the show, and then I realized I didn't hit go live. So, obviously technologically savvy am I. The second thing, Fitz, this is your flu game. You are dealing with some glitchiness on your internet, but you're just going to power through it. And we appreciate everyone sticking with us if that pops up at any point. Also, it's that point in the year where on the fantasy side, people are overthinking every decision that they're making for start sit because it's the playoffs, weather situations, and on the fantasies, on the betting side, the spreads, the totals, everything is just tightening up. Less value on the board than you typically saw in week 1, week 2. But, hey, we're going to be making bets here. Fitz, I know that yesterday you made the big family sacrifice to watch football instead of spending time with your wife and children. How was it?
It was good. Wall-to-wall football all day, the 3 NFL games and 6 college bowl games. And just want to give a plug to our guy, Thor Nystrom, college football guru. Thor has this amazing article. You can easily find it by checking Thor's timeline on Twitter, where he posts player opt-outs, players who are in the transfer portal, coaching changes for all these bowl games, which have such a big impact on the game. And then Thor gives his Thor line, there's the actual line and the Thor line on what the game should be. I crushed it on Southern Miss against Rice yesterday because the Thor line was showing 9 points of betting value on that. The line was Southern Miss by 6 and Thor said it should have been 15. And so I pounded Southern Miss and they won by 14. So if you like to bet college football as well as the NFL, be sure to check out Thor's stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if all you did was go to, in fact, I'm going to copy it here, put it in the comment section. If all you did is just go to the college football page at BettingPros and just looked at the articles that Thor has there. He's got his early lines and predictions, his college power rankings, all of it. He's got all of it there. But yeah, that masterpiece that Thor has where he's updating all the coaching changes, the opt-outs, the transfer portal, all of that, that provides immense value for people who are betting. So check that out. Like you, I tailed Thor on some picks yesterday, and that went well. All right. And Fitz, great call on the Bills-Dolphins over. That was an easy hit there. I hit on Browns -2.5. That was my one bet yesterday. But yeah, again, great call on the Bills Dolphins over. Seemingly everyone in that game went off except for Isaiah McKenzie. So naturally, we are giving away. Let me get to it here. We are giving away an Isaiah McKenzie mini helmet for the Buffalo Bills, courtesy from our friends at Pristine Auction. If you want a chance to win it, subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on the video. We will announce a winner on the channel in a future episode. All right, Fitz, let's get to it. The first spread that you are looking at right now, Patriots +1.5 at Raiders, and this line has kind of fluctuated. Whether it was the Raiders favored, Patriots favored, but it's kind of sticking in that range of 1.5. What are you seeing in this game that puts you on the Patriots? And actually now I'm looking at it. This has moved to +2 on the Patriots at a number of books. Where are you? Yeah, +2 at DraftKings, +1.5 at BetMGM. Where are you seeing the edge here for the Patriots?
I like the fact that the Raiders just completely dumped that game against the Rams last week. And this was a team that was already sort of teetering on the brink after they lost that game to the Colts, the Colts who just blew the biggest lead in NFL history like a month ago. And then there was talk from Derek Carr and Devontae Adams afterwards about how maybe, there wasn't complete buy-in in the locker room to the Josh McDaniels regime. And I don't know. I started betting against the Raiders and they rallied and burned me. But now I feel like it's time for them to go back into the tank after that game against the Rams. I don't know how you come back from that mentally and finish up the season on a high note. The Raiders do get Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow back, so maybe that gives them a little bit of a boost on offense, but they're going against a Patriots defense that is 4th in DVOA against the pass. So I don't see Derek Carr really slinging it around today. And the Patriots are 5-2 this year against teams with losing records. One of those losses was to Green Bay in overtime on the road, where Bailey Zappi got like his first major NFL playing time, and they still almost pulled that one out. So Patriots have been good against lesser teams. And, the Pats have some injury problems at running back. Damian Harris is out. We don't know if Ramondre Stevenson is going to play. But as you know, Freedman, running back doesn't matter. And we saw that Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong were pretty good fill-ins last week. So Raiders defense is 31st in DVOA. I think the Pats are going to be able to move the ball around today. I just think there's good value here. And, never really love taking road favorites, but I'm going to do it here.
Yeah, I don't massively disagree with you here. I bet this when the Raiders were 1-point underdogs. So bet, the Raiders at that number, but with it flipped, I think there probably is some value now, especially now that this number's moved to 2 at some books. I have the Raiders favored by 1.25 points here. So if I had to be taking a position at the current number, I would be taking the Patriots. I don't feel great about the Raiders, about having a position on the Raiders in general, just because they're, as you mentioned, not a great team. All right. The first game that I'm looking at here, Steelers on the road at the Carolina Panthers. And this number is +3 at BetMGM, +2.5 at DraftKings. So, hovering in that range here. Tomlin is an underdog. That's just a place where historically I want to be. 49, 27-3 against the spread as an underdog. And if I can bet against Sam Darnold as a favorite, think about that. Sam Darnold is a favorite. That should almost never happen. He's 20, 30-1 against the spread for his career. As a favorite, he's 4-8 against the spread. And this just feels like an opportunity to buy low on the Steelers and to sell high on the Panthers. The Panthers last week had a great win on the road, 30-24 against the Seahawks. But, they have Sam Darnold, who had a 4.8 mark of adjusted yards per attempt in that game. That's right in line with his career mark. Like, it's not as if he was doing anything in that game to make the team win. He was just basically being Sam Darnold. And the Panthers as favorites this year, they are 0-3 against the spread. 6-2 against the spread under interim head coach Steve Wilkes. But again, I think the market has caught up to the Panthers, who have never been favored under Wilkes. And Wilkes, in the only 2 games in which he's been a coach, that was the 2018 Cardinals. I mean, this is small sample, probably doesn't matter, but 0-2 against the spread as a favorite, and failed to cover the spread by over 13 points. So, he's gotten absolutely killed in the past when he's been a favorite as a head coach. And so a good spot to sell high on the Panthers. And I think a good spot to buy low on the Steelers, who last week had a 16-14 loss as home favorites against the Ravens. Kenny Pickett, he's out, but I don't think the drop off from Pickett to Trubisky is much, if anything. And, Trubisky is a veteran. He's better than Darnold. And so the Steelers, they have the edge of quarterback. They have the edge of coach. And the Panthers have a mediocre home field advantage. So if you give me +3 with the Steelers against a bad team, I'm just going to take it. I have this projected as Steelers +1. So I think there's pretty good value on the key number 3. All right, Fitz. Next game here, Bengals -3.5 at the Buccaneers. And this is a really intriguing game. Both for both teams, but this number's been sitting at 3.5 all week. And so it feels like if money were coming in on the Bengals, at some point it would have moved to the key number 3. If money had been coming on the Buccaneers, it would have moved off of 3.5 and towards 4.5. But it's just been sitting at 3.5 all week, and it's pretty close to where I have it projected. So I haven't taken a position on this game in terms of the spread, but like my gut tells me this number should not be 3.5. Like the Bengals are way better than this. So do you have any opinion on this?
That's what I feel too, Freedman. And the Bengals have been world beaters against the spread this year. They're 10-3 against the number, and they've won 5 straight and covered 5 straight. They've not lost or failed to cover since Halloween. The Bengals have just been a money-making machine for us lately. And meanwhile, the Buccaneers, have not been world beaters against the spread. They are 1-9-1 in their last 11 games against the number, and 1-6-1 against the spread in their last 8 home games. Major injury problems for both teams and both defenses. Edge rusher Trey Hendrickson out for the Bengals. Slot corner Mike Hilton. Those are big losses, no question.
Yeah.
But the Buccaneers lose cornerback Jamel Dean and defensive tackle Vita Vea. Also big losses. And I think they've got safety Antoine Winfield Jr. and offensive lineman Tristan Wirfs, both questionable today. Not sure if they're going to go. So maybe that's a push. But I'm a little less concerned about the Bengals' defensive losses, considering who they are going up against. Since the start of November, that's 5 games, Tom Brady is averaging 5.5 yards per pass attempt. I mean, that is that is, sub NFL starter numbers. Like YPA, not a perfect stat, but I think it's a pretty good back of the envelope measure of a quarterback's effectiveness. And Tom Brady is just like a little dink and dunk guy at this point. Like, I don't even know if he's capable of doing damage downfield. And for the season, the Buccaneers are averaging 3.3 yards per carry. They have not gotten to 1,000 rushing yards on the season yet, and we are into mid-December. Like, they have 948 rushing yards. This offense just flat out sucks, Freedman. I mean, like, there's no way around it, and they're going against the Bengals, who, like, one of the more potent offenses in the league. Like, as much as the Hendrickson and Hilton injuries kind of concern me about this bet, like, I just have no confidence in the Buccaneers to move the ball, even against a depleted defense.
Yeah, it feels right. It's like the NFL. So any given Sunday, like it wouldn't be a surprise if somehow the Patriots won or Patriots covered, whatever it is. But I think in general, like the median outcome is that the Bengals win fairly convincingly, because that is what they have been doing for the past couple of months. They're looking like a really strong team. And each week, at the end of the week, when I'm updating my power ratings based on what we just saw on Sunday, I always think I'm probably a little bit too low on the Bengals. And, I think there's a chance that I'm still too low on the Bengals. So I'm not showing value on this, but if I had to bet it, I would be on your side. The game I'm looking at here, Saints -4 hosting the Falcons. I have this projected at 5.5, and I bet this on the look ahead at 3.5. Let me get to, there we go. Bet this on the look ahead at 3.5. And I logged it in the BettingPros app, where you can sync up with sportsbooks, get free betting advice and picks, and track different experts and your own bets. And you can set alerts. So we monitor all the major sportsbooks. When one of them has a line move that hits a threshold you've set, you get an alert to tell you, hey, there's now value on this bet. Go bet it. So download the app today in the Apple or Google Play Store. All right, I think the market is acting as if the move from Marcus Mariota to Desmond Ridder is not that big of a deal, especially since the Falcons are coming off of the bye. So Ridder has more time to prepare, but he's making his first NFL start. And this is like a strategic thing. It's not as if the Falcons hid the fact that they were switching to Ridder. Like, they announced before the bye that they were making the switch, which was totally stupid. They could have announced that after the bye. In fact, they didn't need to announce it at all. They could have tried to keep it under wraps and surprise the Saints today with the news that Ridder was starting. Instead, they announced it before the bye, and they gave the Saints, who were also on bye, extra time to prepare for Ridder. So, like, just a massive strategic error by the Falcons there. And I think the bye, in terms of preparation, might be overstated, especially when we're talking about a rookie quarterback making his first NFL start, but it's not overstated when it comes to rest and recovery. And for months, the Saints have been very injured, one of the most injured teams in the league, but now coming off of the bye, they are almost fully healthy. So now we have a healthy Saints defense going against a pretty raw rookie quarterback in his first start in an offense that already plays really conservatively. There's just too much value here. If you give me a good defense at home, coming off of a bye, going against a rookie quarterback who is pretty unpolished as a prospect, who's a 3rd round rookie, like, yeah, I'm going to be taking that team there, especially if it's less than a touchdown. So at 4, I see the value there. All right, Fitz. We're going to talk about Monday Night Football. and we were both on the same side here, which again, kiss of death. So, and it's your Packers, which means it's probably even worse. This line is sitting here, Packers hosting the Rams. This number is around 7.5, depending on where you look. Actually, no, seven's across the market now. Fitz, what makes you think that the Packers at home are actually going to get it done here?
Love that this number has come down to 7. And Freedman, I'm not a Packers homer. If anything, I tend to pile on to the Packers when they struggle, as they have for much of the season. But in this game, man, it's more about the Rams than the Packers, really. It took a Baker Mayfield miracle for the Rams to avoid their 8th straight loss. And getting those 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter, I mean, like, that is the most offense the Rams have seen in like 2 months. They are averaging 16.6 points a game for the season and a league low 4.7 yards per play. Like, this offense has just been broken for most of the season. And surprisingly, I'm not willing to buy into the idea that Baker Mayfield has fixed things with those 2 drives. So Aaron Donald is going to be out for the Rams on defense. Obviously, just a major blow. The single most impactful defensive player in the NFL. And Freedman, it's going to be 15 degrees at kickoff Monday night in Green Bay. You've got a team from Los Angeles with really nothing to play for, no incentive, probably booking their flights on Travelocity for their off-season vacations on the sideline during that game. I don't see the Rams offense already, arguably the worst in the league if we're looking at yards per play, doing well in the frigid conditions. And, it's funny. I heard someone analyzing this bet and taking these stance. Who are the Packers to be 7-point favorites against anyone? Well, this is the anyone where I feel pretty good about laying 7 points. So, yeah. And like the weather thing, I mean, I think weather tends to be a big nothing burger more often than not. And we saw this last night with the Miami Buffalo game that everyone was thinking was going to, make this drive the total down. The over under should have been 28.5 in people's minds going into that game last night. Nothing happened. Like, the offenses functioned just perfectly well. It's a little different in Green Bay and that sort of cold. If you're not used to it, especially for a road team coming in, I mean, like, you have to wear in those conditions, even with the heating coils underneath the field freezes. And like, teams have to know which depth of cleats to wear, like how long the cleat should be. Do you have the 2-inch cleats, the 1.5-inch cleats? Like, the Packers know all this stuff. I mean, they play in this every year. They're totally prepared for it. Road teams, not so much. It is a big advantage. Like, I think it's like worth 2.5 points probably to Green Bay. So, I just think they're going to make quick work of the Rams on Monday night.
Yeah, I don't need to add all that much to what you said there. Sean McVay, against the spread, 0-5 for his career in temperature of no more than 40 degrees, including the postseason. It's not just that they are a dome team. They are a warm weather dome team. Like the Lions or the Vikings, dome teams, but they still, like, those guys live in a colder environment. So at least, like, they might be able to sort of have a little more acclimation to to the weather there. Not at all the case for the Rams. Baker Mayfield, 18-33-1 against the spread in his post-rookie seasons. And then Aaron Rodgers. This is the total eclipse spot for him. 98-73 against the spread as a favorite. Most quarterbacks, like, if they have splits, they're good as underdogs against the spread, not so good as favorites. For Aaron Rodgers, he's actually his best against the spread as a favorite. He's his best against the spread at home, 67-37-3 against the spread at home. There's like a true home field advantage at Lambeau Field. And Aaron Rodgers in the regular season off of the bye, 9-3-1 against the spread for his career. You put all that together, he's 4-0-1 against the spread. Now, yeah, it's a small sample, but Aaron Rodgers, home favorite off of a bye, 4-0-1 against the spread. I mean, yeah, everything that you mentioned there, I totally agree with. Even -7, I think that is a fine number with Aaron Rodgers with 8 extra days to rest and prepare. So yeah, I'm with you there on that bet. Another bet that we are on the same side of: Eagles, Bears over 48.5. Fitz, Oh, I mean, talk to us there. You're in Chicago.
Yeah, so I was just out walking the dog a little while ago. It is cold and a little bit breezy today, so we're gonna feel that. But I don't think the weather is gonna significantly drive down scoring when you've got two pretty run-heavy teams going against each other. The Eagles have scored 40, 35, and 38 points. 40, 35, and 48 points over their last three games. The Bears have given up 33 and a half points a game over their last six. I mean, they've just been getting trucked lately. They've allowed no fewer than 27 points in any game over that 6-game stretch. Their defense is dead last in DVOA. This is just a horrible defense and has been pretty much unable to stop anyone since they traded away Roquan Smith to the Ravens. I feel pretty good about the Eagles scoring somewhere between 30 and 40 points today. It's just a matter of whether the Bears can do their part and score, 13 to 20 points to get this one over. And they've scored at least 19 points in 5 of their last 6. They have Justin Fields. They have David Montgomery. They're going to have a functional running game. And the Eagles' run defense has not always been great this year. I would say it's pretty average. So, I think 48 and a half just feels way too low for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin Fields at home off of the bye. So I think he will be at his best, especially now that he will have the running ability, which, can really drive the efficiency for the Bears and, a defense that just gives it up. And then the Eagles team that is highly efficient in the air and on the ground. The Bears 9-4 to the over this season, 7-0 to the over ever since they started trading away defensive players. So just a great spot there, as you mentioned. All right, next game here that you were looking at, Falcons Saints under 43.5. I talked about why I like the Saints in this game. You like the under. What do you see here?
Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe it's because we're getting all these cold weather games and this one is going to be a dome game. Everyone thinks that the number has to be over 4. Like I could see this over under being like 40 and a half. And that's kind of what I would have expected. I mean, Desmond Ridder, you talked about this, Freedman, getting his first NFL start, not expecting offensive fireworks out of the Falcons, not really expecting them out of Andy Dalton and the Saints either. I mean, this is a pretty putrid quarterback matchup. The Falcons have scored 17 or fewer points in 4 of their last 5 games. The Saints have scored 16 or fewer points in 4 of their last 5 games. The Saints are 18th in offensive pace and the Falcons are 27th. So these are two leisurely paced teams with bad quarterbacks. I'm going to assume Desmond Ridder is not, lighting it up for 400 yards in his first NFL start. Man, I think this game could be really low scoring. Like I could see this being played in the low 30s.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I have this projected close to where it is, so I'm not betting on it either way. But yeah, it does feel like an under game in which you have divisional opponents rematching. Yeah, it's just kind of the under formula here. An under that I'm looking at, pretty simple rationale for why I'm betting it. Giants Commanders under 40.5. Divisional rematch outdoors in December or January. I mean, that's just an under spot. We saw these teams play 2 weeks ago, so they are still really familiar with each other. Not much, if anything, has changed from then to now. And so I think that familiarity will breed a lower scoring game. And I think that was the 2020 tie. That game went into overtime and the under still hit. So, these are under teams right here. Divisional outdoor games in December or January are 315 to 251 to 16 to the under. So a hit rate of 55.7%. And that number bumps up to 57.1% for the cold weather divisions. And the Commanders have a good defense. Chase Young is finally expected to return to action. The Commanders are off the bye, so their defense is healthy. They've had 21 days to game plan for the Giants offense because they played in week 13, had the bye in week 14, and now they're playing in week 15. So literally that defense has been doing nothing for the last 21 days except thinking about how to shut down the Giants offense, which frankly isn't all that hard to shut down anyway. And both offenses are really underwhelming. So, in the way that Fitz would put it, this is a rock fight that I am expecting here. So, just divisional matchup, think going to be a lower scoring game. All right, next one here. Bengals, Buccaneers under 45. Fitz, you talked about liking the Bengals on the side here, and I'm assuming it's sort of like a combination of the Buccaneers have an okay defense, so it's not as if the Bengals are going to go totally off and score 50, and their offense just totally sucks. The Buccaneers just can't do anything on offense. So you're looking under 45 here.
Yeah, I'm going all in on the terribleness of the Buccaneers offense. Just let me reiterate those numbers. Tom Brady, last 6 games, 5.5 yards per pass attempt, and the Buccaneers, 3.3 yards per rushing attempt on the season. The Bengals are 10th in defensive DVOA. The Bucs are 11th. And I did mention those injuries. I should mention them again. Mike Hilton and Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals, Vita Vea and Jamel Dean for the Buccaneers, plus possibly Antoine Winfield Jr. But as if the Bucs offense didn't have enough problems, Tristan Wirfs either isn't going to play or isn't going to be at full strength. Their very best linemen. I mean, the offensive line has been having all sorts of trouble keeping the pass rush off Brady, hence his eagerness to check down. And, that's certainly contributing to that 5.5 yards per pass attempt. The fact that most of his throws are going under 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. So these are solid defenses, and the Bucs offense is just so bad. A total of 45. I don't think the Bucs are going to do their part to push this one over.
Yeah, I agree with that. The game I'm looking at here, Broncos Cardinals under 36.5. It's disgusting. At this point, it's disgusting to watch this game. It's disgusting to think about this game, and it's disgusting to bet the under on a total this low. But I bet this at 39. Obviously, I liked it more there. But we've got 2 backup quarterbacks and a very good Broncos defense at home at elevation. The Broncos are a league best or league worst, however you look at it, 11-2 to the under. On average, their totals are falling short of the market by 8.92 points per game. That's an incredible number there. I don't think the market is adjusting downward enough for the fact that we have 2 backup quarterbacks in this game. So both teams could play very conservatively on offense with 2 offenses that are pretty bad to begin with. The only thing that the Cardinals have had going for them this year and really last year is Kyler Murray making magic in an offense that doesn't facilitate much for him. And so they don't have that at all. And, say whatever you want about Russell Wilson, who definitely has not been the Russell Wilson of years past. He's probably still a step up over Brett Ripien. And even if he's not, he at least still has familiarity with the offense week in and week out and chemistry with the other players. We don't see that with Brett Ripien. So the under here, 36.5. I mean, it's disgusting, but I'm expecting a very low scoring game here. Fitz,
Freedman,
you got something to say?
Yeah, this is just a warm up. Broncos, Cardinals for the real masterpiece on Christmas Day. Santa is leaving something special under our tree with the Broncos Rams on Christmas Day. Have you seen what the look ahead total is for that game?
I mean, it can't be any higher than 36.
It's 35.5 last.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are going to watch that instead of spending time with their families on Christmas. God bless them for, those are the people who keep the NFL, $1 billion operation year after year. But that game. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And who am I kidding? I'm going to be watching it.
I was going to say, who are you talking about these other people as if you are not included in that group? Those are the real sickos. All right, Fitz, let's talk about the underdog money line parlay. I'm looking at this at FanDuel. That's where we kind of have the best combined odds here. You're liking the Titans plus 132. I like the Steelers plus 126. You put that together, looking at our parlay calculator at BettingPros, and that is plus 424 odds for the 2 legs. Tomlin as an underdog is 40-39 on the money line with a 30.8% ROI on being a money line dog. That's per Bet Labs at Action Network. Fitz, what do you like about the Titans at plus 132?
Well, I've done really poorly of late betting the Titans or the Chargers, being on either side of those games against the number. But with the money line here, the Titans are 10th in the Massey Peabody power rankings, and the Chargers are 23rd. So you're getting the dog here significantly higher in, a well-respected power rankings index. And speaking of respect, like I have so much respect for Mike Vrabel as a head coach. His teams usually punch well above their weight, maximize their talent level. They have not done that the last 2 weeks. They got trucked in Philadelphia 35-10 by the Eagles, and then they came home and lost to the Jaguars by 2 touchdowns last week. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be really surprised if a Mike Vrabel coach team lays eggs 3 straight weeks. I think they're going to put up a good fight. Maybe they won't win today, but I like the pot odds getting them at plus 132.
All right, let's hit on some of the questions here that we've got in the comments. If you have any questions, games you want us to focus on, specific bets, etc., go ahead and put them in there, and we will try to run through them quickly. Fitz, anything catch your eye here in the comments?
Some player props. I know someone was asking about Garrett Wilson, which has moved down to 49.5, which is just utter disrespect for Zach Wilson. I still like the over on the Garrett Wilson player prop of 49.5 receiving yards. Like, man,
Yeah.
Either that's immense respect for Mike White or immense disrespect for Zach Wilson. But Garrett Wilson is just so good in the matchup against the Lions, who've had, a lot of issues with pass coverage. I think that's a pretty good bet.
So especially as you mentioned the Lions with issues in pass coverage, I posted all of the props that I've bet in the BettingPros Discord this morning. I might or might not have included Garrett Wilson in that. And I'm not saying that to be coy. I literally don't remember if I included that in there or not, but I know that there's value on that, on the over. I have this projected at 63.2. And so I think you're right. Just significant disrespect for Garrett Wilson based on who his quarterback is. And yeah, he's had pretty stark splits based on who has been throwing him the ball, but 49.5 is a really low number given the matchup that he has.
Freedman Fireman 757 asks if anyone is scared for Dallas today. You are a Cowboys fan. How do you feel about the Cowboys in Jacksonville?
Okay. I have this projected as Cowboys minus 6.25. The thing is, I haven't bet it yet because I'm still thinking about this. I'm a little bit scared because this number has continued to move towards Jacksonville, which means that you got to respect the market. There's a decent chance that my projection is just wrong. And some of it is that the matchup between Jacksonville and Dallas is pretty good for the passing game for Jacksonville, and that they're going against a secondary now that is without 2 of its 3 starting cornerbacks. And Trevon Diggs, as interception prone as he was last year, he's a big play machine for any quarterback who can get a double move on him. So I think the Cowboys defense is a little bit more exploitable because of the issues they have at cornerback right now. So I don't know. I might bet this game, but I'm very tentative on it. Do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I'm staying away from this one because we saw the Cowboys almost lose straight up to the Texans as 17 or 17.5 point favorites last week. And I don't know whether that was like the Cowboys won, get the bad game out of the system game, or did something break and the check engine light is still on, or, I don't know which way to go on that. So I would definitely not bet on the Cowboys. If I was going to bet anyone, it would be on the Jaguars as a home dog, but I'm not really eager to bet that because I do think, up until a couple of weeks ago, even though I have, immense concerns with anointing a Mike McCarthy coach team as one of the NFL's best, I did think it was one of the NFL's best teams, at least up until last week. So I still think it is. But I don't know. I'm just kind of staying away from this one.
Yeah, it's a spot again. I'm showing value in my numbers, but I kind of know enough to know that this is a spot I might just want to stay away from. So I haven't bet it yet, and I'm gonna be thinking about it all the way to kickoff. All right. Any other questions that you see in here, Fitz, that we might want to hit on?
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy is asking about backdoor future bets for AFC South or NFC South and any of the dogs. Could a dog like the Panthers come through? I have not checked the lines on division winner odds lately, so I'm not sure what those are. I am kind of intrigued by, I don't know, the Panthers. even though I do agree with you on liking Pittsburgh today, but like I got to think the Panthers are still probably at least 8-1 to win that division.
Yeah, let me pull up the odds here in the Betting Pros odds page. So Panthers to win the division. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right numbers here. This can't be right. This cannot be right. Panthers to win the division. It looks like they're plus 350 at BetMGM.
Could be. I mean, it's everything's so tight. Maybe there's just no.
I mean, everything is tight. If the Panthers win out, they definitely win the division.
Do they have the longest odds at plus 350 in the division?
Harder to see with the way I'm looking at it, because I'm looking at all of the. Let me see here. All right, NFC South. Here we go. So the odds are the Buccaneers are still minus 350. The Panthers are yeah, the Panthers are plus 350. The Falcons are plus 1400 and the Saints are 40-1. So I mean the Panthers are right there. As the number 2 team. The other one was AFC South that you mentioned. Let me pull that up here. I mean the Jags 450 plus 450. That's the team that I would be betting on. The Titans are minus 800, but I don't really see any value there because like I know that like we do have respect for the Titans, especially Vrabel when he's in a situation of being an underdog. But it would not be a surprise at the same time if the Titans just kind of fell apart to end the year. Like they started, like they made moves in the offseason of like, hey, we're kind of in a soft rebuild based on trading away AJ Brown, things that they did in the draft. And then they overperformed a little bit, but their defense is still so broken right now that I don't know. Like I could see them falling apart, especially now that they don't have their number 1 receiver who's in the concussion protocol for the second straight week. Jacksonville is starting to come on. Like Jacksonville has actually pretty good like underlying statistics. I think, and earlier in the year, Trevor Lawrence was just throwing too many interceptions in the red zone, which kind of like skews some of the overall performance. But he's been very good the past 6 weeks. Yeah, plus 450. If I were to be betting anything plus 450 on Jacksonville to win the AFC South, that is what I would be betting.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Jaguars have been trending in the right direction. And really the only thing I don't like about that team right now is their pass defense. But in that division, just having one major flaw might be enough to sneak in.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a quick recap here. Fitz, you are on the Patriots at plus 1.5, plus 2. I'm on the Steelers at plus 3. I'm on the Saints minus 4, hosting the Falcons. Fitz, you like the Bengals minus 3.5 at the Buccaneers. We both like the Packers on Monday Night Football, hosting the Rams as 7-point favorites. And then we are both on the over 48.5 in the Eagles-Bears game. I like the under of 40.5 in Giants Commanders. You like the under of 43.5 in Falcons Saints. I like the under of 36.5 in Broncos Cardinals, and you like the under of 45 in Bengals Buccaneers, basically just a full fade of the Buccaneers offense. And then our combined money line underdog parlay, I have Steelers plus 126. You have Titans plus 132 combined for plus 424 odds at FanDuel. All right, Fitz. We went a little bit long here, giving the people what they want. Fitz, the rest of your Sunday, what do you have going on?
Got a Twitter takeover coming at the top of the hour that I'm going to be doing while keeping one eye on France, Argentina in the second half. And that. And at some point today, updating, I did a first pass at week 17 projections. And, I'll have to adjust based on
16, right?
What did I just say?
You said 17.
Oh my gosh. Trying to wish away the season. I would never do that.
You got me a little bit terrified where I was thinking like, oh my God, did I project the wrong games?
Did I miss a whole week? No. So updating week 16 projections at some point. And and what else? The week 16 waiver wire column for all those people who are making it further and further in their fantasy playoffs. Like we're still out to help those people.
All right, check out all of that stuff. I will be updating rankings, fantasy rankings, all the way to kickoff, and then updating our Betting Pro spread and total projections. And then this evening, like Fitz mentioned, finalizing the first round of Week 16 Betting Pros game projections. And looking at the early market, I already have 2 look-ahead bets, which you can find in the Betting Pros app. All right, that's going to do it for the NFL Week 15 Betting Pros live stream. If you like the show, do us a solid, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck, and see you next episode. And now I need to set this up better because now I need to get to the end page here. Here we go. See you next episode.